Good morning, my loves. Happy Thursday in the woods, or the weekly woodland woo-woo, whatever you want to call it. And this week's been a bit of a blur, if I'm honest. It's I've been landing, coming back from the beautiful retreat that I held at the Dreaming in Wales with Kirsty Jandrell. What a gathering, what a beautiful space. And over the course of the weekend we were discussing amongst us what the purpose, what the focus was when we originally set it up, when we decided that we were going to run this event and where it was going to be held. And the idea behind it was to give everybody who's attending almost like the way I saw it was almost like an immersive experience or a spyglass view into life in the fifth dimension, what it's actually all about, rather than we have a lot of theories, we have speculation, we have dreams, we have ambitions, we have views, and but only tiny little pockets of experience. And the idea is to have these beautiful experiences together and then bring that energy into our everyday reality, the reality that sees me waking up on a Thursday morning and getting my camera and my recording stand and my crystals and coming into the woods after having a cup of coffee and then going about my day. But the vibration hasn't left me. The experiences that I had over the course of the weekend, both facilitating and experiencing, and everybody shifted. So this little insight, this little pocket, this snippet into the fifth dimensional energies, that's what we are looking to achieve all around the world. And for those of you that are kind of plugged in maybe to the mainframe, or the, what you want to call it, the story mode of the planet, you might not be feeling that. You might be feeling that the world is a terrible place, that there's lots of dark things occurring. And if that's the case, then I would urge you or suggest to just come out into nature for a few hours or minutes or however long you have spare, and just spend some time in the company of the elementals. You don't have to talk, although you can express yourself if you choose to do so. But the world that's being shown to me when I choose to engage with the green side, with the organic side, with the aspects of nature that are being presented to me, say now in this moment, in this space, are very, very different from the picture that's being painted outside. The anger, the division, the confrontation. There seems to have been a bit of a fuse lit amongst people. I've seen this happening before. I felt this energy last year. I can remember going to Ebnesy last April, and some of my opening words to the predominantly German crowd of people that had come to see me were, the energy here feels very different. And I was met with not resistance, but a lot of quizzical people saying, well, the energy here in this country, it's crap, we don't like it. And I said, well, it feels to me as if it is very different from where I've come in England, where it felt at the point of leaving, and say this is April last year, it felt like England was sat upon a box of dynamite and the fuse was slowly burning towards it. So in many cases, our experiences of this energy what we pick up from the world around us tend to be driven by our environment, what we're used to, what we see around us on an everyday basis, which leads me to conclude that removing ourselves from that on a regular basis and coming into spaces that are green, that are natural, that are filled with elementals, that are quiet, supportive. You can hear the bird song. You can feel the energies around you. That is essential. That is what we've been asked to do for ourselves. And going back to what I was saying at the beginning about this immersive experience, this spyglass into the fifth dimension, we're already there. We are already holding these energies predominantly on this planet. If you look at it from a numbers perspective or a kind of light workers statistics, we are over six. There's some of you might find this information quite incredible, because when I think about it, my natural reaction to it is really, but over 60% of the people on this planet at this moment in time have been triggered in the correct direction, meaning that they have begun the process of calling in their mighty I Am presence. And the mighty I Am presence is the defining aspect of the ascension or the descension, whichever way you want to look at it, the process. So the idea behind all of this is to embody our I Am presence in physical here on earth, to become that version of ourselves, that the sage, the healer, the king, the queen, the leader, the teacher, the pioneer, the earth worker, the lover, whatever you regard yourself as, whatever kind of soul energy or stamp that you have brought down here with you, you are embodying that now. Especially if you're listening to me this morning, most of the people, all of you beautiful souls that listen to my YouTube videos, or you might be picking this up on Facebook and kind of rifling through the adverts at the same time, I would personally recommend coming to YouTube, because YouTube seems to have a more kind of defining video watching experience, although everybody seems to be focusing on shorts nowadays. Don't know about you, but I don't really feel the shorts thing as much as I do the city downy, because it seems to be a symptom of our shortening attention span a little bit. The shorts seem to get the information out there more than a discourse. But that particular the particular energies that are being held by people around the world at the moment are huge, and the awakening process, the coming back home, the anchoring of the mighty I Am presence is the defining, that defines who we are, the highest aspect of our soul essence on earth, present in physical at this particular time. So according to my charming informants and my teams of light around me, we're sitting at about 62%. Might be more, but Diana Cooper's always a good one to ask for this, because the balance point, the golden ratio, the 50-50 got hit some time ago, not last January, but the January before. And from that point onwards, we climbed. So when I'm talking about this, I mean the quantity of activated or awakened souls on this world compared to the amount that are still asleep. And so that's 62% to 38%. That means 38% of the people on this world are still not embodying the aspects of their soul mission, that are needed to enable them to step up. Now we're still not up to the right numbers yet. Realistically, we need to be looking at about 80% to 20%, and those 20% are the ones that have literally chosen on a soul level to continue to learn at a third dimensional frequency. And that's, as I've said before, that is okay, because that is a soul choice. That's because their soul has chosen to learn or to continue to learn, because they have not spent enough time trawling through the intricacies and the joys and the delights of living in the third dimension. All of the things that we were born into. If you think about when you were born, I was born in the early 70s, and some of you might have been born before then, or you might have been born afterwards. If you were born before the 21st of December 2012, you would have been born into the third dimension. That energy was very fixed, and it's almost like a sand pit that had no ability to really evolve or change or be any different from what it was. And immediately after the cosmic moment, when we moved into the 4D window, the sandpit changed. It became more pliable. Energies were added to it, different frequencies, flames, activations. If you want to look at it from a child perspective, new toys were added to the pit, different coloured spades and buckets that you'd shape the sand in. And this has increased and grown every single day since that point. So souls that need to continue to learn at a third dimensional frequency are currently on this world. They are all around us, but many of them are choosing to step out. They're passing over the period of time. And we're seeing this all around us, aren't we, on one level or another. And it's been going on for some time now. It accelerated massively around 2021 and 2022, and just kind of leveling off a little bit. So we're seeing this happen. This is actually occurring in our field of vision, in our experience, in our lifetime, whether we're choosing to be aware of it or whether we're choosing to focus on other aspects of our process. But what's really coming through for me at the moment, and it's so powerful, is the power of our unity, our togetherness, our community, and how incredible we are when we bring us. There's a lot to be said for how human beings respond when they're challenged, when they're put on the spot, when things aren't necessarily comfortable. And the energies are definitely not comfortable at the moment. There's very, very few people, if not any, that I've spoken to that are just cruising through with nothing bothering them whatsoever. There seems to be something that's coming up for everyone on some level, be it the intensity, be it personal challenges, being even the daily routine of not plugging into the matrix, because not plugging into the matrix is currently very tricky, because we're still interwoven with it. We have roofs over our heads, we have bills to pay, we have food to put on the table, so we're still interacting with that construction, and that's okay, because that's the way that life is at the moment. But what I saw over the course of the weekend was incredible people doing incredible things because they chose to do so. Not because they were made to do so, because they chose to do so. Challenges that push the physical body, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. And so for me personally as a facilitator, it was beautifully eye-opening and confirming to see just how amazing each of us actually are, regardless of our age, our physicality, human beings are amazing. You are amazing, and I am as well, in whatever capacity. We are capable of so much more than we believe. We're being asked, or we're being constantly bombarded by the propaganda to bring us into a space of limit, or return us to our limitation. If you think about where we were in 3D, that experience was based around our limitation, our disconnectedness, our lack of self-awareness, our plugged in, the whole being plugged into the machine. And we began and are sailing through our process by unplugging and finding what and how we function, the best way that we function, which is with our wings spread, free, and learning about how capable we actually truly are. And that's going to come into the fore with the reality that we are part of, because I really do feel that the next phase of our process, what we are going to be moving through, is creating our own system. And this system will rapidly become all-encompassing. It will be the system on this world, because the one that we have been part of and that we are currently still partially engaging with on whatever level is no longer sustainable. Energetically, it is not compatible with who we are and where we're going. The 3D framework, as it previously existed, is the wrong shape to fit into the new whole. So it's a square shape, and we're trying to fit it into a round hole. That doesn't work anymore. Those aspects of energy, those frameworks of energy, no longer work. They're not doable. Okay, and this is a very, for those of you that might be looking at how we're going to do this and maybe struggling with the concept, it is all about energy. Everything is energy at the end of the day. Even your capability and your consciousness and how you choose to do things. Everything, absolutely everything, including the sandpit in which we play, is energy. So that new construction that we are wishing for, and wishing is the word that I choose to use, because manifesting it's a bit clunky, it's a bit grindy, it's a bit old school. The angels use the word wish, to wish into existence. Wish has a powerful and love-based energy, the same as gratitude, the same as adoration, the same as love itself. So we are wishing into reality a new system, a system that is kind, it's balanced, it's loving, it's fair for everybody. And we are simply choosing to walk away from anything that does not vibrate at that frequency. And the old system is very resistant to this, as we know. I've spoken about this so many times. If you're new to the channel, all you've got to do is go through my plethora of older videos, and you'll see how much I've spoken about this, how we are building a new system within the system. But the point of what I'm saying is, this is now coming to the point where talk is no longer optional. Doing is the one thing that is actually going to begin to actualize this. Building or creating new structures between us as communities, as unified people, as beings, human beings with common ground, with a shared focus. We don't all have to agree on absolutely everything. That's not possible. We're all going to have slightly different ideas. We're all going to have different perceptions about how the world works and you know, what's what basically. But that doesn't mean that we have to kind of bicker, fight and argue about it, or write essays on Facebook about how wrong somebody else is. We simply just come together with what works, and it irons out. that's why I believe, as we're moving into this next phase, that the communities of the future are going to be so much more fluid. They are going to work because we've done the work. Okay, we've worked through our personal issues, our triggers, and our shadows. And previously, when people came together as communities, they usually did so to escape the system and because the damage had been inflicted, and inevitably they would start off okay, and then all of the stuff would come to the surface and these communities would dissolve, they'd fly apart. So we're not looking at that kind of energy anymore. We're beginning to see people who are genuinely loving, genuinely kind, who truly want to see the best for themselves and for everybody else around them and the planet starting to come together. You are incredible. Okay, you are. If you are wondering what you're capable of, you are capable of doing absolutely anything that you turn your mind to, with enough confidence, with enough determination, or being pushed in the right direction. So that's me from the woods this morning. Love you all very much, and catch you again soon. Bye for now.